and hi.
Boom, 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 boom. Other side of the ball. Okay, here we go.
That was DJ Duncan on the ones and twos. Hi, we're live from the Flamingo. Welcome.
We are not. We
The
are
sign's
live.
right behind you. Okay.
We are live from Structure Studios. Thank you to my good friend John Boyko and Structure for allowing us into their beautiful podcast studio. John does a podcast weekly that's live to tape that I'll be doing later tonight, talking about the business of A7FL and Golden Lights and the Harrison House and all of my community stuff.
So you're working double header.
Always.
Indeed. Well,
and I apologize for not being in person to the fans and then to you guys specifically. I was going to get a flight, but the FAA is still struggling because of DEI apparently. So anyway,
well, that's Corey live via remote location, and that's Chris, and that's Derek. And hi, I'm very bright and light in this studio, but nonetheless, we've come to the top 10. The top 10 of the top 50 players of the A7FL from 2024. Now, this particular list was very hard to try to really construct how you do a top 10 because all these guys, well, first off, they are all very worthy of being on this list, but trying to...
I see what you did there.
Yes, very worthy.
Ashanti word?
Wait.
Or maybe Wayne's World. We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
We're not worthy.
Party on, Wayne.
Party on.
So I think, were we going to recap the
previous,
the top, what would the top four?
Yeah, and to kind of finish what Dub was kind of introducing, the top 10, we're really splitting hairs and splitting these guys from, which seed in the top 10. But just as a recap for you guys, fans, my wife, hey babe, who's watching this, just getting the ugly view. Too bad she can't see you guys. But just to recap where we've been, just so we know where we're going, guys, let's just run real quick with 50 through 11 in the A7FL top 50 players of the 2024 season. Starting off with number 50, Mike Luberti, running back, Snow Tribe. Also play some defensive end, and we move on. Number 49, Devon Gray, running back, Tampa Bay Nightcrawlers. Number 48. No, this is not a government, but Yella Peasy from OTT.
a.k.a. Mr. Boone.
Not AKA. That's what he should only be known as.
Nigel Boone.
Number 47, Divine Epps, wide receiver cornerback from the Silk City Animals. Number 46, Ramsey. Just apply there, right? OTT.
That would be Keith Ramsey.
Yeah,
Keith Ramsey.
Yeah, but when we just say Ramsey, it could have been any of them because they're just kind of like an amorphous group of related humans that are good at football. So shout outs to all of them, but specifically Keith Ramsey. Number 45, Javi Grace, defensive end, formerly and not real anymore, Chris, the Sin City Chaos. Number 44, James Mitchell, Mr. Honorable Mention in all of our lists from the Indianapolis Octane. Number 43, Julio Mora, running back, Sick Wit It. Number 42, Deion Fox, quarterback, Vegas Force. Number 41, Savion Cunningham, wide receiver, kick returner, just all-around baller, OTT. That brings us to number 40. Willie Easterling, known as Mayweather, running back for the Patterson U. Number 39. Pack Money, returner, BIC, number 38. Omari Thomas, running back. I feel like Mel Kiper, running back. No, Omari Thomas, running back for the Baltimore Watchmen, number 37. Number 37. Drizzy Pope, cornerback, not the real Sin City Chaos. Number 36. Cal Bone, defensive end, Baltimore Watchman. Number 35. He's just known as Oos. We're just going to say Oos.
Big West.
West of my
Exactly. Lineman. Baller. Vegas Insomniacs. Number 34. I believe
Hey,
it's Chris Cunningham, defensive end Insomniacs. We go back-to-back champs there. Number 33. Wide receiver, Amatrice Hall, Covington Heist. Number 32. Tierre Edwards. Some call him Lavish T. I call him Lord Tenyon Uzwe. Wide receiver, running back, kick returner, dude that wears a silver silky. We'll stick with it. Number 31. Jaden Webb. Wide receiver, defensive back, and returner for the Vegas Force. Number 30. Keno Thomas. Athlete, mostly quarterback. We'll see what he does next year. Fan of the show, I've heard. The former Sin City, not real anymore. Chaos. Number 29.
Never real. I don't know what he's talking about.
I mean, it's a throwback. It's a throwback to an old episode. We won't go there. Number 29. Dondre Megatron Haynes, defensive end tight end for the East Orange Renegades. Number 28. Justin Cool Case Shepard, corner. Can play other positions. Sick with it. Number 27. Manny Diaz, wide receiver, Silk City Animals. Number 26. Syer Hancock, cornerback, BIC. Number 25. Derek Johnson, also known as 76 from the U, or get the hell out of his way from the Patterson U offensive line. Number 24. Fan of the show, great offensive lineman in his own right, Jonathan Clark, formerly fake Sin City Chaos. Number 23. What?
Free Mr. Clark.
Yeah, mostly. Number 23. It's Michael Lugo, right?
Correct.
Offensive line, defensive line. Sick with it. Number 22. I mean, guys, this guy's just a one-name type of dude like Messi or Ronaldo. It's Huff, quarterback, Patterson U. Number 21. Personal friend of mine, never posted anything to Facebook that I didn't agree with myself, which is actually a truthful statement. Go read it back. Jeremy Revis, linebacker, Vegas Insomniacs, which brings us to the top 20.
Can you put a pause in that real quick? What
Sure.
are the guys normally in where they comment?
It would be under comments.
YouTube. Usually YouTube.
YouTube or
Darren Palmer says, I see y'all with the nice studio, exclamation point.
Oh, so you are seeing comments. They're just not coming up on the screen because producer. So Alex, I don't know if you're tuning in, buddy.
You got it.
There you go. And
but
we
we
won't be able to
that.
see it. Well, that's why I pulled it up on YouTube here, but the delay. There we go. I see y'all with the nice studio. Thank you. So shout out.
I see Darren Palmer with the nice emoji or avatar or whatever that's called in the digital world.
Yeah. So shout out to producer Alex in the background making this thing look so good for us today.
Jeremiah Branch in the chat, checking in, cooking up some brisket, hopefully some ribs.
Man, I'm gonna have to talk to Jeremiah.
There we go.
Bro.
Thank you, Alex.
I want us some baby back.
So you might want to just go from private chat to comments. I think we'll be able to see it there also on the
Alex is killing it. Yeah, if you just click on that comments on the right hand side there, Alex.
He did it before you even told him to do it. I can see it. You know, I'm back in headquarters here. I've shifted because the table's set up for Super Bowl still because we got 5 kids. We haven't cleaned it up yet.
We are. We're doing the original 30.
Oh, that's right. We're backed up to the original 30. My bad. Go ahead, man.
Somebody's cheating.
So, we're way behind the scenes there. We'll look at all that stuff. All right. So just to wrap up and not mentioning what you were talking about before the show, guys, 20-11 is number 20. Ole Bell, defensive end, BIC.
Ole.
Number 19. Isaac Negron, defensive player of the year, defensive end from the Patterson U. Number 18. Mark Bagway, baller, Nightcrawlers. Number 17. Logo
AJ.
Davis, baller. What's up, Jace? What's up, my guy? That's a personal thing between me and him.
Future superstar.
Yes, he is. He's
definitely.
And show your dad that Corey Hammond BIC jersey. It won't bring up bad memories at all. Sorry, Jeremiah. That's kind of a troll, but you know me. So Logo Davis, number 17. Baller, Nightcrawlers, number 16. Kwani Morgan, running back, kick returner, Silk City Animals, number 15. David Tender, quarterback, Silk City Animals. Number 14, guys, we're getting there. OG Buck, Rakeem Chaney, quarterback, Baltimore Watchman. Number 13. Someone you guys know pretty well, Scott Hamilton, quarterback, Las Vegas Insomniacs. Number 12.
Yeah, to think about
H3
that.
Frazier, corner, BIC. And then the last guy that we know where he's placed. Lead us into the current list we're about to go through. Number 11. Seow. And that's all I'm going to say. Dub, can you help me out with my poor pronunciation?
Josiah
Josiah.
Sow.
Josiah Sow. Offensive line, defensive line. Partial running back tight end for Siquidit.
Big
Got
man
some
with
hands,
football.
man. He's got some hands.
So Corey,
Definitely
let me
does.
just say thank you so much for this list and
Oh,
your recounting of everything and taking the lead on all of this. Before we get into the top 10, I just want to say thank you to our group. You guys have been fantastic pulling this thing together for us over the past I guess it's been longer than 4 weeks because we took some time off for the holidays, right?
Correct.
yeah,
So
we started late November, I believe.
yeah. So it was doing this the top 7 in each position, which generated the list. 2 weeks
Yep.
off for the holidays, and then come back with the top 50 based on those top 7s that we curated. You guys have done a fantastic job. I know I haven't been there for you for most of the shows, but you guys have carried the weight, and super happy with how this whole thing has gone, and very happy with everything. So thank you guys.
Well, thanks for giving us the platform. Thanks to the studio for having you guys. Thanks to the FAA for fixing DEI problems, or I'd be there. And thanks to the fans for getting us to 1,000 subscribers, and also checking in as we do these lists to make it even more fun.
We
Especially
need
Coach James.
we need a sounder for stealing thunder, because that's where I was headed next. Was
Wow.
this? We went from 835 subscribers to over 1,010 the last time I checked. It was interesting though. We were at 1,015 like a week ago, and then we dropped 5. So you pissed somebody off.
Eh,
It takes a lot of work to go unsubscribe from YouTube.
They probably said, it's not me.
Right.
So
they
I wonder-
probably didn't see some of the guys that we're about to mention, and we're like, if they don't got those guys in this list already, they don't know what they're talking about. But
Well, if I'm being honest, we got 31 new subscribers over the semifinals of the NFL because of the Mizzle and Dub show and Talking Ish. People seeing things that mentioned NFL teams, they're like, "Ooh, let me listen. Oh, I'll subscribe to that." And so we picked up 31 subscribers that week. That was based on those 2 shows. So thank you guys for contributing to the network like you do.
isn't Dub.
Not
Those shorts,
just
those
NFL.
shorts are helpful too.
Yeah, for the 4 shorts.
Wow, that was a great game, though, guys. Build up all the way for however many 24 weeks of an NFL season to get that beautiful performance.
Yeah,
And I'm talking about
repeat
the
of-
Kendrick Lamar halftime show.
for a repeat of Siquidit versus OTT.
Listen,
Wrong.
I was sitting here kind of half watching that game because it got to a point, after the white corner returned it for a touchdown, and that was the pivotal moment of the game. That was ridiculous.
Should have been the MVP.
Cooper DeJean.
Listen.
I digress.
That's not. People are trying to make that out to be like Jackie Robinson. Come on, let's be real.
I did find that hilarious. Like, he's the great white hope. I'm like, what happened to CMC?
No, because they saw his workout regimen and they were like, "Oh crap, that's what a white dude has to do to be a running back in the NFL."
What happened was he got on the Madden cover and then he went to shit and got shot in the leg in Buffalo.
Oh, here's the 49er fan. Jesus.
Wasn't the Madden cover after he was hurt?
No, before.
No, before.
Yes. Christian McCaffrey's been hurt his entire career. So yes, Derek, you are correct. It was after he was hurt because he's always hurt. But no, I don't want to talk about that stupid league. Shout out to the Mizzle and Dub show for talking about that league and giving us the attention. But let's break it down, guys. When was the last non-competitive A7FL championship? Yeah,
I've never seen one.
I never came across.
Exactly. Because when you put teams like this on a field with everything on the line, it comes down to the final seconds. And I will say this.
Or on time.
I do not remember Like, without looking back, seeing it, I do not remember the last competitive game that was a championship in the A7FL. I think it was 2016. No, it wasn't 16 because that was the year that BIC came back. I think it was either 15 or 14 when the U blew somebody out. And just think about how long ago that was.
So
Donald Trump wasn't even a politician then. He was still just a reality star. Jesus Christ.
It's kind of weird watching him argue with himself.
What wasn't the Immortals a team that had a blowout? Didn't they die?
Well, it was not BICU, Nightcrawlers, Insomniacs, or BIC Insomniacs, right? It wasn't that close. But that game, that was the first championship game I called with Matt Ryan, and I think that the score ended up being something like 28-14 in the fourth quarter. That was still a game. It wasn't. It wasn't Patrick Mahomes walking out like down 40. You know what I'm saying?
That was a good Kermit impression. Good job. What about?
It's not easy being green.
What about? Was it the Chiefs that was the other non-UBIC winner?
Chiefs played the Immortals, and the other game that was close, but it wasn't a down to the nail biter, was the Baltimore championship, where it was the Vikings versus the Gators in Baltimore, and that was in Baltimore, but that was only a 1-score game too. And then the Chiefs, when they played in New York State, they played, and it was funny. They sat me down to put like a professional, right, announcer who didn't know anything about the league, and that was terrible. No, it's fine. Whatever. I mean, listen, I get little. Back then, I would get ornery about championships because I wanted to be in it. So whatever, I didn't care. But that was Chiefs Immortals was also a pretty close game. But that's what I'm saying. The last blowout, I think was when the Chiefs played the Patterson U, and the score was like Eagles Chiefs 41 to something.
So Dub's got a fact check. Trump 2020.
It was the U against the Old Bridge Hawks. The final score was 40.
Yeah, but that's the Salas tournament where there was only 4 teams anyway.
Yeah, so that wasn't.
But you said blowouts. That was the last blowout.
But that was a tournament, not a A7FL champion.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's a 4-team tournament. So we're not talking about a national championship, right?
Okay, so then it was the U against the Chiefs 38-6 in 2015. So you were in the right.
Yeah.
You was in
2015.
the right.
Oh, so I was right.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Yeah, kind of. I was just going off the top of my head, too. I didn't even look that up. Thank you, Doug, for looking.
Put a pen in that. Little tease for the end of the show.
Stay
tuned. There might be $20,000 on the line.
Really?
20 racks.
20 racks for that ass.
I'm putting a team in.
You should. You should play quarterback.
So, guys.
Yes.
We have look, we're going all over the place here, but for this show, we have covered 50 through 11. We're talking about some of the best quarterbacks in the history of our league. A guy who's started his career with 2 championships back to back. Scott Hamilton, my guy. We are talking about playmakers, defensive stoppers. We've got everything in the top 50, except, guys, the 10 best players of the 2024 season. So,
but
I don't know if you want to get started.
We also have in the 11 through 50 2 players who will be suiting up for IFA teams this coming season. We have a tight end, and Dondre Haynes, who is likely going to be in the top 25 list for the PFA for their top 25 tight ends nationwide at that level of football. Yep. So there's a lot of talent in this league, and people are starting to take notice and grabbing some of our best talent and hiring them.
And rightfully so.
And rightfully so. That's right. So with that,
let's get into it. Number 10. Now, just a little disclaimer before we go. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just saying we need our microphones turned up just a little bit. Alex, if you could
either turn Corey down or
help them fight me.
Help us fight him with the loud noises. So if you turn our microphones up and turn him down, that'd be great.
No, you didn't even turn him down. Now that we're up, I think we're good. Corey, can you hear us better?
He's like, turn me up with the phones.
I already have my face as half the screen, which is bad enough, right?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Number 10. Now, just a real quick disclaimer. When we all had this group discussion of where these guys all were, there was a lot of shuffling. There's a lot of guys in contention for that top spot that likely deserve it. And in many years, I feel like certain guys would be the number one guy, if not for what the number one guy that we will find out was able to accomplish this year.
And let me say that if I was to draft an A7 team, I likely would go in a different order than what this 10 is, but I would want all 10 of these guys clearly on my team.
Yeah, I think all of the IFA teams, all of the football teams in the world, maybe especially the Chiefs, should consider highly these 10 guys that we're about to go over. But
I'll tell you what, if you start an A7FL team with these A7FL team with these top 10 guys, that'd be cheating.
It would be.
It would be first, it'd be cheating. Second, it would be right back to the whole thing of super team.
Well, what's awesome about this, other than kind of defense, which
yes,
who cares about defense?
You have alone.
Yep.
You have every major position you need of these 10 too. So let's get down to business, gentlemen. Number 10. And let's take turns. I'll start with 10, and then we'll go in order. So then we'll go me 10, Chris 9, Derek 8, Dub 7, me back to 6, which I think is apropos and it will work perfectly. Number 10, linebacker, quarterback, just absolute monster for the Tampa Bay Nightcrawlers, Deontay Henderson, number 10.
Alex, if you've got the Henderson clips, now would be the time to drop those if we had any of those.
Viewer discretion advised. Let me just say up front, viewer discretion advised. No.
Is he murdering people?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Corey, don't lie. You told me you were going to put it up there. You told me you were going to put it on. You put it on, didn't you?
Let me just say, shout outs to our number 14 player who may or may not be a feature situation in one of these clips. So just to kind of give the story behind it while we look for these clips, I think everybody that knows anything about football and has seen him live knows that Deontay Henderson is one of the top performers, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And if you look at our list, I'm not going to really break kayfabe here. He's likely our top only defender guy. But when we talk about a guy who's able to make impact plays, and impact is very important in the way that we describe him, I don't think anybody embodies what it means to be an A7FL tackler better than Deontay Henderson. And look, this isn't the best form tackle we're about to witness right there. And you guys may know that clip that he was just showing very well, because it'll be close to everybody that watches the show from Vegas's hearts, because it's two guys that we really enjoy. But Deontay Henderson has gotten a lot of praise around this league, and he plays on a team with Mark Bagway and Logo Davis. But one of the highest forms of praise that I can hear is from a guy that I respect, that knows the game, giving his honest take. And I will say this about the defensive coordinator and also champion with BIC, Anthony Richardson, who is a long-term, a mainstay in this league, has always put together great defenses, except for the Snow Tribe. And what he said, because his team faced the Nightcrawlers in the first round of the playoffs, I was looking for the film, I couldn't find it. For all that we say about Mark Bagway, for all that we say about Logo Davis, the person that he hated going against in that game the most was Deontay Henderson, and said that guy needs to be playing on Sundays. He ran sideline to sideline, making every single play on both pass and run that Snow Tribe tried to do against them. Now, let's be honest, Snow Tribe's offense isn't known for being potent, but Deontay Henderson is known for being one of the best overall players. And not to hide the lead, early on in the season, Deontay Henderson, one of the best linebackers and tacklers and just impact playmakers in the league, he played quarterback to such a high effectiveness with only 8 guys the Nightcrawlers came out with a blowout victory in week 1. It just kind of goes to show the football integrity that he has. And I know on this show we like to talk about how people are as humans. Not only does he do all of that, Deontay Henderson is also a youth coach that travels around the country with his players, developing the next group of players and young men. And he is our number 10 player of the 2024 season.
That's not
And a
gonna-
damn good player at that. So, can I
we're-
get the
We're getting echo because I got on the show and I'm trying to be able to help with the video here, but it's not working.
and Corey, I can't do the voice, so I need you to do the number.
Number 9.
Number 9 is Jeremy Geary from Sick With It, and quarterback. I should throw that in there as well.
Well, we didn't have any chance to talk about Henderson from our perspective.
You want to go?
Yeah, go. Yeah, we could do more Henderson. There's no problem with more Henderson.
Yeah,
I
so
would always jump in.
so before Jeremy Reeves hit the league, I never saw anyone go sideline to sideline like Deontay Henderson. I don't know that Reeves is any better, but I hadn't seen that type of linebacker in this league be that effective. And he's also an amazing blocker. They would use him on the O-line position, would go at D-line, go at middle linebacker, and would affect the game in every step of the way. What the Nightcrawlers do best is show up and play whoever they're playing, whatever brand of football. Like, these guys are famous for showing up to a tournament and going, well, we paid $1,000 to get in. What's the format? But you paid $1,000, you don't even know the format? Like, we got the best athletes. We're just going to show up and play whatever you tell us we got to play and take this money home.
And took $10K in 2023.
And took $10K in 2023
Well,
from my pocket.
We can't also forget the fact of his speed. I mean, this guy is definitely, when it comes to talking about speed, this guy is definitely not a slouch.
No, he's fast. Like, a man that large should not be that fast.
No, it should be illegal.
No.
Should be
He's
illegal.
got to be 265, right? With
I
that frame?
Listen, yeah, you're seeing in slow mo like a car wreck. That's what OG Buck wakes up from in the middle of the night as a nightmare. The clip that they were just trying to put up there.
Again,
yeah, man.
Yeah. I mean,
cheat code.
It's illegal in my eyes to have a guy that big be that fast and be able to cover from sideline to sideline, and you don't see him miss many tackles, if any at all.
What did Kettle say? Needs more dancing.
Yeah, one of my favorite that I heard from the guy.
I know.
Was RTC versus Deontay Henderson. The
irresistible force against the immovable object.
Yes, but the quote was, "Whoever gets hit and hangs their head first is who is going to lose that game."
You did say that,
and I don't know who ended up hanging their head first, but they went at it all day.
Oh man!
And those boys put on a show for us that day. And shout out to both. But we're talking about Deontay Henderson right now, bro. You get all the flowers, man. Dude, happy to have you in our league. Thank you for what you bring to the A7FL. You're an absolute fucking beast.
But not to mention the fact of being able to hear big men hit.
Yes,
because we were on the sidelines, and to be able to hear that kind of thuds going on during the game when these guys don't have pads on is something else to watch.
Yeah, it reminded me of Rocky hitting the hanging meat in the locker.
Yeah, but
Shamrock meats.
That was a sickening thud. That was a dull thud. This was a sickening thud when you heard these guys hit each other.
It was loud
and pop up like nothing.
Right,
it's crazy.
Yeah, his performance in the 2023 championship was only bested. What's up, Cam? Cookies and milk. My guy Jordan Davidson checking in the chat. Was only bested by the guy that was opposed to him. And I will say this, RTC was running straight into Deontay Henderson a lot. And they have another dude, number 8, McCray, who is a former, I believe, UCF or USF baller. That team is stacked. But for all that we give credit to RTC for, right? Henderson had to go through guys like Kenny Mack and Oos, and then he had to go against RTC. So it was he in all of those plays that he made, he had to go through the blocker, which is a beast, and then make a tackle on a beast. And honestly, if he is either featured in more games that we are able to visibly watch, which is part of what we're working on for 2025, but also if he didn't miss a couple of key games that were really important, Deontay Henderson might also have been a little bit higher on our list. But I know everybody that is listening to us talk about, yes, Matt Ryan. Listen, those guys should be dancing.
Oh, now I get it. Needs more dancing because every time they dance, they lost.
Yes.
Yep.
And they continue to do it, by the way. And then they continue to lose. But to kind of put a cap on it, Deontay Henderson, absolute monster, and our number 10
could have easily been in the top.
Could have.
Yep.
Did you have something to say, Dub?
No.
Oh, okay.
Number 9.
We'll go back to this and say we're going to go back to Jeremy Gary,
Who actually wears number 9.
Yep. That. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterback for Sick With It. There's a lot of things that I'd like to say about him because I've watched this young man play, and there's aspects of his game that I really like. His ability to throw from just about any arm angle you could think of. He showed definitely when he played the Insomniacs because they had a lot of people right in his face. So to be able to drop that arm down and deliver a very accurate pass and some of the stuff that he was able to do, Dub and I talked about it when we're in the booth. We kept saying, it'd be good for him to run a little bit just to keep the defense on their toes, because he's always in the pocket. He was always like what we talked about being a regular pocket quarterback. But to watch him be able to move around in that game specifically and be able to get out the backside and also run for some first downs, some much needed first downs for his team was something very special to see. And I like how his game is growing in the A7. And I want to see what he's able to do this year.
Yeah, so for me, NFL comp for Geary would have been a guy who's no longer in the league, Andrew Luck. The pocket awareness for Geary to see when it's starting to collapse around him and know where his empty spaces are for him to slide to and still be able to deliver the football instead of having to take off is one of the best parts of his game. And then when he sees that they're in zone and the entire field opens up or the middle's completely open and he can step up and pick up 10, 12 yards, he just dips his shoulder, gets it done, on to the next play. It's a brilliant way to play football, to stay healthy and continue to be successful. And that is, aside from all the things you already said, that is and his touch and accuracy while on the move or while sliding is at Scooter level. Scooter's probably got a little better touch, but Jeremy Geary is an absolute dog at the quarterback position and love what he brings to our game.
And as Jordan Davidson correctly said in the chat, shout outs to the chat. Keep the comments coming. We'll figure out a way to get your little name. There's Justin Shepard, our number 28. Jordan, you don't have a number this year. My bad. Darren Palmer, you don't have a number. But Jordan Davidson says it. Jeremy Geary, because I view the MVP as a regular season award. Jeremy Geary was my MVP. He was also the biggest reason, in my opinion, why Sick With It was the Vegas regular season division champions. Now, all that goes away, and that's why he's listed at number 9 in our top 10 because the playoffs happened. But the Insomniacs did lose this year. And I think one of the biggest reasons they did lose is because Jeremy Geary was able to completely dominate that game from the pocket with both improvisational plays, timing routes, touch throws. He really did it all. And a couple of his teammates are here in the chat. Uh-oh. Is it chat? Am I the problem, or are they messing up in the studio? Chat, or what rhymes with chat, Matt? Okay, so since I'm here, I'll get to talk about my favorite quarterback this season in the A7FL, especially the regular season. What those guys said about Jeremy Geary is true. What is also true about Jeremy Geary is that he also has that kind of clutch ability that when his team is down, his level of play actually increases. And if you look at their losses to the Insomniacs over the years, I wouldn't pinpoint the loss and say it's Jeremy Geary because he did the X, Y, and Z. In my opinion, I think that my NFL comp would be more like a Joe Burrow, where he has kind of your traditional throwing motion. He is able to go through his progression very quickly and makes very few mistakes in the decision making that he makes. He doesn't turn the ball over as much, and he's deceptively mobile when given an opportunity. His mobility is more in his ability to climb in the pocket or find the open. This is why dancing is important, to find the space in which he can maneuver to allow for his receivers to get open. And if you just break it down to statistics, I would argue that nobody had better statistics in the regular season than Jeremy Geary, based on over 2,600 yards passing, a touchdown to interception ratio that would make even Sterry Codrington, who only had one interception on the regular season this year, blush. And at the end of the day, guys, he's my favorite quarterback this season, was my MVP of the regular season, and is only number 9 on this list because the playoffs existed.
Now, real quick, Catalyst Wrestling, I'd like you to give us a little bit more. He's saying, what do you guys make of the moves from the Force the last few days, and will they affect Jeremy Geary? I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, so Matt has inside information that he thinks I have as well, but he keeps commenting and sending me messages, and I'm like,
well,
what happened?
I will say this: one person from the defense that played for Sick is now taking his talents to the Force.
Really?
Correct. So Matt could probably give us some insight about, and I'm maybe he's seeing rosters, and that's why he knows.
No. It's in the A7 players page. The post is there.
Oh, guys are making announcements on the players page.
Yes.
Well, there's a couple of big announcements, and I wanted to make this show more about the top 10. But one of the guys, I think his number 41, is now going to be playing receiver for the Force. I think that's big.
That I heard from Matt last night as well. So if Jaden Webb doesn't have to do returns or doesn't have to spend 40-50% of his energy on offense and just can play defense, the Force is going to be a force to reckon with him being a lockdown corner like he is and not having to go both ways the whole time.
Well, can you put up, Alex, put up the last one from Cookies and Milk? You click on that for us?
That's hiding the lead right there.
Hot take.
Yeah, because he's we can't read it from here, but
I can. It says Shepard and
Savion are on the Force.
Well, good God, I need my eyes checked.
Well, you don't need them checked. I just did it for you. You're old and you can't see.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I can see it perfectly
because you're closer than both of us.
He can see clearly now. The comments are on the big screen.
No, I can see clearly now. The comments are on my damn phone.
That too.
Well, JG is who we're talking about, and the Force, obviously, JG losing guys to the Force is what we're hearing, and how is it going to affect his gameplay, and how could it? I mean, it's possible that 2 of his guys, his main people watching his blind side, will be playing professional ball this season and potentially not there, so they're going to need to fill with some other bodies potentially, and hopefully, Mark Gray has gone out and recruited some other guys to help with that, or maybe they picked up the guys that the IFL team cut to pick up the 2 new guys, and they'll be just fine.
But if you look at Cool Case's comment, he said it won't affect JG at all,
and he would know. I mean,
yeah.
Well, isn't he one of the guys that's defecting?
Well, going to a different team, yes. You
Yes.
can call it defecting.
But he's
I mean,
saying saying clearly you can see it won't. He says that it won't affect.
It won't affect him.
So
Yeah.
you say defecting, but let me tell you, when I met Shep, we were all playing for the coaching staff that is currently the Force.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he was part of that organization well before he was part of Sick With It, as far as I know.
I think that a future show, maybe next week, is to talk about the off-season moves and how they affect kind of the preseason rankings, if you want to put a thing on it, or at least our perceptions preseason of who these teams might be coming into March 16th, which is right around the corner for everybody. Drop that last 5 pounds.
You said March, 316.
Austin 316.
No,
Yes.
no,
Yeah,
316.
March 16th. Yeah, that's what I said, right?
We are saving everyone. 316.
So, but to kind of put a cap on JG,
Or opening up a big can of
statistically, nobody had better stats than Jeremy Geary. He's my regular season MVP, but
And
for our
fan club, and you're still the president of his fan club.
I don't know.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
Man crush.
We'll talk about that. But he, for purposes, for the entertainment purposes of this show, guys, there's 8 guys that were better than a guy who led the league in passing yards, touchdowns, and regular season win percentage at the quarterback position. So that's our number 9 player.
But to your point,
season.
by stats, he then would be the Joe Burrow of the A7FL. Missed the playoffs this year. Obviously,
He made the playoffs.
Obviously, Sick made the playoffs, but he didn't get an opportunity to compete in the championship, so that the guys out east can see more of his game.
Agreed.
Listen, if you haven't seen Jeremy Geary play, turn on that regular season Insomniacs Sick With It game. You'll see a lot of fun things. You might see a guy later on this list doing donuts, we'll talk about that. But what you will see is a guy mastering the position of A7FL quarterback, and let's be clear, dominating in the air a defense that a guy later on this list struggled against.
And probably the 2 best
Period.
4th-down throws I saw this season against the Insomniacs to seal that game.
Joe Burrow-esque, right?
Yeah.
Joe Burrow-ish.
For sure.
Number 8. Speaking of wide receivers that are ballers, Derek, should I just do it? So then we can talk about it?
It is the division you know better, so I would appreciate
Number 8. Wide receiver. BIC. Ashanti Worthy, ladies and gentlemen.
Former MVP of the league, one of the greatest guys to ever don a BIC jersey, Ashanti Worthy, speed embodied, balance and strength are his primary attributes that make him who he is, and absolute dog, will never give up on a play. Like literally never. On the ground, knee a half inch from the ground, jersey halfway torn off, standing back up, spinning around, taking off. That I've seen so many highlights of this guy. He is everything you want to see in a football player, and a really good guy. When you stop and talk to him, just understands who you are, cares about who you are as a person too. I can't say anything bad about Ashanti Worthy, man.
And
when
not
he was
to mention,
MVP, go ahead.
One of the best nicknames we got in the league,
Hollywood. I didn't do it as good as LJ.
Yeah, no, honestly, nobody does it as good as LJ. But yeah. Ashanti Worthy inflated Sterry Codrington's stats to the point where they were comparable with Jeremy Geary. Now, Sterry's completion percentage, we may talk about this young man later, but his completion percentage was out of control this year. It was upwards of 77, I believe, 77% completion percentage in this league is insane. But what they were doing a lot of the time is just throwing it on the quick screen to Ashanti Worthy and saying, just go for it, buddy. And when you look at Ashanti Worthy's stats, and shout out to Cole Gardella, who worked with me when we were doing the wide receiver episode. I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but he had something like 40-ish catches for around
40.
950 yards. So we're talking about 20 plus yards per reception.
Yeah.
And,
Jeez.
and if you think about it, there were games in which he was coasting because BIC was up on some of these teams huge early, right? So the and then when we were talking about the worth of Worthy,
Yeah.
Chris and I, when we were talking about the worth of Worthy, it's above the statistical analysis as well,
For sure.
because when he's standing on the field, right, between the hash and the sideline, when he's on an A7FL field, there's not a defense in the league that isn't concerned with what he is able to do on a specific play. So if he's out there, you either have 1 up to 7, maybe even the whole team, 40 guys on the sideline. What's up, Gaither? Watching what Ashanti Worthy is about to do, which makes the job a lot easier for guys like Kason Campbell, for guys like Matt Riddick a couple years ago, for guys like Trey Cohen, for guys like Umar Butter Lewis. These are all names that you've heard of.
He gets hit. Look at this.
And Ashanti Worthy.
That's just a toe tap against the U this season. There's better plays. There's better plays, but this kind of shows it. This kind of shows what he could do.
Yeah, but doing that against the U, who is known to be a great coverage team, obviously gets behind his man on that. You didn't see the replay to see where he came from, but I think he was the slot on the other side, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, that's one of those routes he ran where he's running all the way across the field. You can't see it from this play, but I just kind of wanted to show. Look, Ashanti Worthy's not a tall receiver, but he's a technician as well as a improvisational playmaker. And there's another.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. There's another play that just shows his breakaway speed. If we could find that one. But I mean, everybody's seen Ashanti Worthy make a play here and there. So if we're able to get it up on the screen or not, it doesn't take away from the type of player he is. And that clip that we're showing over and over again, when he gets up, he's not throwing a celebration tantrum because of how great that play was. That's the Eastern Conference Championship right there in a tight game that actually was tighter than it should have been, in my opinion. And he's just getting up. And I think what he's saying to himself is that he wishes the throw was better because he would have scored if it was more inbounds and he didn't have to go toe tap and catch it. NFL style, by the way. Didn't just go with the one. He went full 2 feet in, showing the pro scouts like this is who you should be signing, because Lamar Jackson has 0 receiver options still to this day.
We've mentioned all that, and we haven't even talked about him on the 3-on-1.
Right? And shame on you for discounting Isaiah Likely. That guy's a beast.
Listen, you know what's crazy? If our producer could put up Jordan Davidson, Cookies and Milk's last post. This just shows, and this is a shout out to Jordan Davidson. This just shows the inside A7FL that he knows. He's talking about the 2021 Renegades game in which I was leading BIC, having the game of my life, and then Ashanti Worthy himself scored 24 unanswered points.
Good job, Jordan. For Hollywood.
Well, hey, but Corey, you don't play defense.
No, I'm sitting on this. You know what happened in that game? I'm sitting on the sideline, oh shit. The plays in which he scored were 2 3-on-1 returns. So just imagine, I just scored a touchdown, which for me, even in 2021, which is a long time ago, it sounds like, I was still old then. It was a lot of hard work. It was the Renegades too, by the way. No disrespect, copious amounts. And then Ashanti Worthy is just erasing my whole body of work in just 1 second, right? And then there's a clip of me later when he's about to return a different kick. I go out to him and try to push him off the field. It was a fun spectacle, whatever. But at the end of the day, this man is a problem regardless. And for him to be this high or this low, in some people's opinion, he took a step back because last year, at the end of the season, not 2024, but 2023, because of the amount of wear and tear he put on his body, because he carries BIC on his back, right? Kick returns, plays quarterback, sometimes just runs back and forth like Kyler Murray, a toddler stealing a phone. But Ashanti Worthy's taller than Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is probably like 4'7".
Daughter's taller than Colin Marty. Anyway.
The youngest?
Yes.
Ashanti Worthy this year took a step back, right? He let Pack Money, the Baltimore product, return kicks for BIC and focus just on wide receiver. And when you look at Sterry Codrington's numbers, they work through Ashanti Worthy even more so than when we were praising Deion Fox and Jaden Webb. They work through Ashanti Worthy to the point where he's catching the ball on, I think it's like 33% of his catches from 0 to 1 yard on quick screens. And then if you look at the rest of his catches, 50% of them are 0 to 12 yards that he's catching the ball, right? And for him to average over 25 is absolutely insane. And even more so, talking about Ashanti Worthy, this is kind of a little foreshadowing here. Ashanti Worthy's worth has a direct correlation with a guy that we're going to mention later on in this list. Because of how great of a player Ashanti Worthy is, that's why one of the guys that we mention later is going to be mentioned where he is, in my opinion.
Well, he sure made Seven, the defender, fall down in the middle of the field. That's who was covering him. And if 18, it looks like 18, didn't bring his defender over, that would have been a touchdown because Codrington would have been able to put it right on him for the touchdown.
It was a bad throw.
Well, no, he had to put it where he put it because the other defender and the other wide receiver in the way.
Brought him over.
He brought him over. If he got the hell out the way, that's a touchdown because Seven was laying on the ground.
If he leads him up the field and not out of bounds. Now, credit, Sterry Codrington gets hit on this play. Not like I get hit by Isaac, but he love tapped him.
Because he respects Sterry.
No, I'll go. When you talk to the defensive ends in the Northeast Division, they all get excited to play me as a quarterback, not because they hate me specifically, but because so many of the quarterbacks in our division are run-around guys that piss them off. They know where to find me, so they tee up for that game. And it's Isaac says it's his favorite week of the year. Corey Hemp. This play kind of shows. Now, this isn't from not this one. I don't know. This is a good one. It's fourth down. You see the sticks right there. It's fourth down. This is a championship game against the U. And when you're BIC, who do you go to? It's him.
Naturally.
Makes sense.
Number 8. Which brings us to our number 7 player of this season. And I think we'll go. Dub doesn't have the list in front of him. Let's go to Chris. This is a guy.
I do have the list.
He has a list.
So let's go to Dub. So ignore what I just said. And shout out to Coach James for the perfectly timed troll. Right? Did everybody see his comment?
Yes.
Yeah, we saw it.
Yeah, we saw it.
He said, "Is Ashanti Worthy John Cena?" Because I couldn't see him in the championship game.
And to prop up Vegas a little bit, the games where we played against Ashanti, he did not have great receiving numbers ever. So
that's true. The force game, he only embarrassed the entire squadron and made SportsCenter. So
not at receiver. Not at receiver.
I know. That's what I'm saying. He didn't do well at receiver. He only made SportsCenter embarrassing the entire the entire championship team at that moment. No, I'm just going to be me always. Shout outs to James. It's what he does. LOL. Yes. Anytime Coach James comments, I think we should just put it up there. It's always good television. Number 7. Dub, take it away.
Well, needless to say, what really more can you say about number 7? He does it all. He catches, he blocks, he runs. Mr. Versatility is what I love to call him. Coming in.
Wait, he's this low? You're talking about who is it?
Coming in at number 7 from Sick With It, who, by the way, led the league in touchdown receptions back in 2023 with 11. The one, the only, Mr. Darren Palmer.
Dub with the sultry introduction.
I will say this: I don't think it's wrong to say that he also led the league in touchdown receptions this year as well. I got to double check, but listen, we live in a fake news environment where facts aren't important. So let's just go with that. You
I
guys,
like
you
it.
guys, you guys talk about Darren Palmer because I can say a lot, but I know I talk too much, and you guys have earned
Well,
it. So
Well, normally when you find him, good things normally happen when you
Right.
find Darren Palmer. And
Look.
it's normally a lot of good things, mainly finding the end zone.
He
Well-
is what I would consider one of the all-around wide receivers. It's guys that you just don't normally have on your team, guys that don't just catch the football, but guys that will make plays, get other people open, unselfish with what he does, has plays that you just kind of shake your head at, and he does, and very humbly goes back to the huddle and doesn't say a word. He's one of those wide receivers that if I'm starting a team, I definitely want him on my squad because I know my running game is going to be that much better with him playing wide receiver.
if you watch this play, watch Lavis T think he's the primary receiver. Oh, nope. Nobody's more open on this play than my guy, and that's kind of what we'll call that a sail route. It's a rounded out at the goal line, right? They're going across scheme
Rub
there, kind
It's a
of
rub
like post and then a corner.
Chris says they're
Well,
cheating.
Of course, it's a rub route. And I love
Look-
it because
He threw
It's
his
a-
man
But
on
look
the
at
ground.
look at the leverage in which he sets up the defender on just a simple one move route, right?
I sound like a wide receiver.
And does his corner fall? Who is that, by the way? I don't want to call anybody out, but let's call out who that is.
Yeah, it did.
Coach James, who is that? Who is that getting absolutely owned by Darren Palmer at the cornerback position on that play?
I mean, he literally takes his inside hip and throws him away.
Yep.
Listen.
So
That's
it's great.
minimal contact. That's more of the footwork to set him up that way.
Yeah, it's a great move. I mean, he got him to flip his hips the wrong way and then cut underneath of him. It's a great friggin' move.
He doesn't fall on the contact. He falls on the turn. Watch. He doesn't fall here. He falls here. I mean, only KC Cox can fall and not get touched like that.
Well,
wow.
no, Steve Ashmore did it too.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
But I don't throw Steve Ashmore under the bus. And I just like to incorporate KC Cox because shout out to KC Cox and all the work he's done for our league. But
He likes to say Cox.
Who doesn't? Nothing like
but Darren Paul, listen, Darren Palmer, when Chris and I were talking about these players and where to kind of shuffle guys, because guys were down, guys were up, and where do we put them? You notice Jeremy Geary, who threw to other receivers, is lower on this list. And when we were talking about it, I actually had to be convinced, right? Because I said that Jeremy Geary was my MVP of the league. I had to be convinced that Darren Palmer deserved to be in front of him. But the reason that is very similar to the way that we were talking about Ashanti Worthy. Sickwit's passing offense runs through Darren Palmer.
Yes, it does.
They needed yards on that play. They told Darren Palmer, go to the sticks, stop. And it's fourth down right there against the Force. The Force are not a bad defense. Coach Mack is not a bad defensive coach. That's man coverage. Both of these routes, by the way, that you see receivers or young receivers, especially Jace Branch, if you're going to be a receiver sometimes, this isn't the let's run a triple move and get wide open. No, this is tactical technician type route running where when he makes the one cut, he gains separation because he is an elite receiver. Anybody can get open when you run a post corner or that Devontae Adams move where he runs that stutter in-out move and it's like a triple move and guys are falling over themselves. Nope. These are simple one-cut moves, but because he is running them at an elite, by the way, he played for UNLV, correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yeah.
Correct. With my kid brother.
Exactly, right?
That's all correct.
So when he's a D1 wide receiver running crisp,
He was
precise
actually
routes like this.
corner.
Oh, he played corner?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
listen.
like how it says such a nice guy and an asshole.
And an asshole.
Look, Darren Palmer is class personified. He is, for me, the poster boy for the A7FL Nevada. If I'm going to ask anyone to represent us, if I had to choose one person that I want to put our name on and say, this is who we are, it will be Darren Palmer every time. He is that great of a human. to the point where he is currently the icon for the A7FL Nevada division and what we use as our social. He's that kind of great of a person and that great of a player and an ambassador to our game.
And
so
one hell of an easy player to coach.
Yeah, it takes coaching so well. It's crazy.
Dude, it's
and he probably doesn't even need it at that point. At this point, he's like, yes, coach, but that's just respect. He doesn't need to hear it. But this is what I will say. We talked about Ashanti Worthy's numbers. Ashanti Worthy had like 40-ish catches. Darren Palmer was closer to 80. Like that's the amount of work that he put in this season.
Without the stats from the Vegas championship game.
Yeah, we're talking regular season stats, right? And for Jeremy Geary to be 9, Darren Palmer to be 7. The reason is because of all those intangibles you're talking about. And does he play defense like some other wide receivers in our league and makes plays there? I don't really know. I'm sure he can, but I think he's selfless enough to allow for other guys to get theirs. But Derek touched on it. When you try to interview this guy or his quarterback, JG, they push the attention onto other people. He knows that he can be that guy. He wants his other guys to get the attention. And that type of unselfish attitude, that type of leadership goes a lot further than what the X's and O's tell you. With 80-plus catches, leads the league for the past 2 seasons with touchdown receptions, and number 7 in our top 50.
And some of the best hands in our league.
Yep, without a doubt.
It's wild, man. The fact that he was a defensive player, and he's that good at offense. The fact that Danye Lyons was an offensive player that's that good at defense. Like,
it's crazy.
It's just so
crazy.
The versatility, if you will.
It's fun.
I mean, but when you watch, and the thing about it is, if you ever get a chance to watch DP, get a chance to watch him when he warms up, and then watch him when he makes his cuts and how he makes his cuts.
He sets them up.
He is one of the few people that I can honestly say I don't really understand why he hasn't been picked up somewhere, because of the way he sets up his corners with the way he plays. He should be playing someplace, and I'm no knock about any level,
And he's
but
not
he should
that tall
at least,
in height, but just watch him go up there and get it.
yeah, he should at least be in the UFL with his capabilities.
I think potentially after this season, with us having the content and video that we will have, and the clipping that we will have, and the ability these guys to generate their film and highlights that are coming out of the Vegas division, we're going to lose a lot of talent. I think after this season, the rest of the league can have it back because a lot of our guys are going to get picked up and go pro.
Yeah, there's a not just a few of the players that we were talking about today, but there's quite a few of the players that I think can actually compete at the next level and do a damn good job at it. And I would say Darren Palmer's one of them.
For certain.
Right? And he says thank you to us. No, thank you, Darren Palmer, for existing and being in our league and allowing Jeremy Geary to have put up the stats that he did. I don't know. There's no better way to say it. When you talk about absolutely just pure wide receivers in our league, there's a long list of guys that have succeeded in our league. I don't think any of them embodies what it means to be a pure, just pass catching wide receiver more than Darren Palmer.
This was out of the backfield,
number
too.
7. What happened?
So and that play was out of the backfield.
Never
All
know
right,
where
so
he's coming
on
from.
to number 6. We lost Corey for a second.
There he is.
I'm having allergy issues. There's a lot of dust in my house because in the wintertime when it's actually cold outside, it's a little bit lower than the 63 that gets you guys into winter jackets. Unfortunately, I'm struggling over here.
Temperature out there, 34, 35?
Today was actually relatively nice for this time of year, but right now it's 33. Feels like 26.
Nailed it.
You can have all that.
You did.
You can.
I had to go to the car to get my wife's purse just right before the show.
His wife's
Boxers, slippers, and t-shirt is sufficient. So,
well, I know you.
God bless you.
It's
'cause I
crazy
couldn't
cold
do it.
there. The overnight in Vegas today will be 35.
it
when
gets cold in the desert at night.
Actually, it gets
Faux
cold.
show. Faux
Right.
show.
I've been out in t-shirt and shorts in 8-degree weather, so it's not that bad.
He's from Canada.
Oh, Canada.
That's different. Good luck. Good luck with the tariffs.
Land.
True.
Number 7. Which brings us.
All thy wings command.
My bad.
Okay.
Anyway. I thought you guys were going to stop after "O Canada," but you guys know the words, so keep it going.
We watch hockey.
It's actually a beautiful national anthem, actually.
We watch hockey.
Yep.
And
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 CFL
hockey doesn't
football.
hurt.
and no reason to boo during it, right?
No,
Correct.
The Canadians boo the Star Spangled Banner now, but I don't know why.
You yell "True North" when they get to that part.
Nice.
Number
Nice. Canada.
Number
6.
It's back to you, Corey.
Your turn, Corey.
We've mentioned this guy a couple times before,
Yes, we have.
and for good reason. Quarterback BIC Sterry Codrington.
And the
Now-
reigning MVP of this past season. As
Yes.
voted.
Yes.
by-
Well, no, that was a hesitant. Did you see his hesitant
He's
sigh?
like, eh,
Well, listen.
he
What did I just say? I said that my MVP of the regular season was Jeremy Geary.
He was Jeremy Geary.
We get
Right.
that. I'm saying he is the reigning league MVP. That's all I said.
Yeah, correct. And
Just
whoever
not just Corey's
Yes.
reigning MVP.
Correct.
whoever did those votes this year was a little.
A little iffy.
Hey, Alex, I don't know if you got control of the climate from there, but can you turn the air conditioner back up a little bit? I'm about to get an icicle on my
It's getting nipply in here.
right.
Yeah, it's probably 70 in there. You guys are starting to freeze. But Sterry Codrington led his team to an undefeated regular season, coasted through the postseason. And let's be honest, guys, if it wasn't for 17 seconds, my man had the ball in his hand down against the reigning champs at that moment. This is just a bullet pass. Reigning champs at that moment. And what did Sterry Codrington do? He did what Sterry Codrington does. And look, that's not the play that we're talking about. Everybody knows that they were wearing the white and the black and the red. I don't know if it was an Insomniac's troll.
That's
I don't know why the hell they were doing that. It's stupid to me.
That's horrible tackling.
Well,
I got him. You get him.
No,
I mean, listen, that's Kason Campbell, who also
true.
was on SportsCenter against the Force a couple years ago. He's able to do some special things in the open field. I don't care about what happens after the catch, but what I want to kind of feature on this play, as we will look at Sterry Codrington, is as a passer, he has earned the right. Now look at the defensive pass rush when he's about to release this ball. He's a very good passer. Now, in the championship game, I feel like he missed too many throws, but that's not what his game is. Do you see anybody trying to actually sack him in the pocket? No, because everybody is scared of that man. That man, 168 pounds or whatever the hell he is as scary of a player in that position as you will face in the A7FL.
He is terrifying as a runner. Like terrifying.
Watch what the defense must do when he's in the pocket, and that allows for him to have that extra couple of seconds for his amazing wide receiving core to get open. Now, there's a play that I put out there that kind of more properly illustrates it. I think the play that I was talking about at the end of the championship game, not the full end, right? We'll talk about that later.
You're talking about the 24 seconds.
When there was very little time left.
Right.
We thought it was likely the last drive of the game. Sterry stepped up and he made a clutch play. I would say that he had a poor performance in that game based on who we expect him to be. In the regular season, well, listen, that's his job. He missed wide open receivers, and one of them was that guy, Kason Campbell, too often for us to give him praise as a quarterback in that game until it came to the moment where he needed to make a play. And regardless of how you make it, gentlemen, when you make the play in crunch time in the championship game, that's the job, right? And Sterry Codrington did the job. And honestly, if it wasn't for what happened after he did the job, we're likely singing his praises even more.
Look, 2022, at the end of that season, I said if I was going to draft an A7FL team, my number one pick would be Sterry Codrington. He is that good of a talent and that hard to guard at the quarterback position where it makes you have to change your entire defensive strategy because he's good enough with his arm where you have to respect the throw. But if you try to rush him and don't keep contained, you are screwed. And one of the best defenders in our league, AJ McQuaig, had that happen to him a couple times. He dipped inside. As soon as you show that shoulder to Sterry, he's out around the outside and he's gone. That's something you cannot do with him. And by the way, if you do keep your shoulder square and you don't have someone collapsing at the middle, guess what? He'll take up the middle too. You can't defend him conventionally at all. So you have to almost be able to play zone and rush 3 and have those 3 get home.
It almost seems like when he runs, it's effortless.
It is. He's skating. I mean, like literally, he's out there skating and barely breaking a sweat when he does it. And from our perspective, it looks like it is just easy for him, and he dominates because of it.
Yeah, this is the play that shows it here. And now we're seeing the tail end of it. But when you watch this play from the beginning, and you're me, Corey Hammond,
it's like he's not even
you're just jealous. Look at this. Me, I'm dead. I died. This
the end
75-yard touchdown.
That's not even full speed, Sterry.
No, that is. It's just
jogging.
but he's not trying very hard.
No.
It's still full speed. I mean, the fastest runners don't have to try so hard.
No.
Facts.
Well, also, if you look at this play, look at the vision. Once he turns the corner here, he's immediately seeing the opening in front of him. And that listen, I've had 20-yard plus runs. I've never in my wildest dreams considered that seam that he just ran through at the end would be open.
Not his.
Because that's not even good. That's not even good blocking by his offensive line. You'll notice there's no Big Dippy. There's no Dave Valley. That's just a jailbreak. And then all of a sudden he's like,
But Courage did get the last block to bring him at the end. So look, this is BIC's game. They know when Sterry gets loose, it's time to start blocking, and they all do it very well. Look at Courage turn upfield right there.
That's what makes this play a touchdown is that his teammates are willing to do it.
Absolutely. That's what makes the majority of them a touchdown, because they will set up his blocks or run their defender off to another spot if the defender's not paying attention to make sure Sterry has the space. They practice, or either they played enough together where it happens naturally, or they practiced it enough where it just happens. It's amazing to watch.
Let's address my friend. So you come into the top 10 and you're asking if your Insomniacs made it because you didn't watch.
Scotty,
first of all, if
Scotty,
you can't
wait, hold on. Wait. Scott, you need to just stay where you're at. Keep listening.
It's
and
fine.
See where it goes.
It's fine. Look,
no. He should rewind. He should rewind to the beginning of this episode in which we recapped every single player that we've mentioned. All right, listen. YouTube is a thing that's forever almost, right? Not like, the Gulf of Mexico is forever, because obviously Google caved on that. But YouTube at least has these videos up. So if you miss them live on Wednesday, you could then go on Thursday morning and at least listen on 2x speed and get to see where we listed 2-time champion quarterback Scott Hamilton. But even if you don't do that, my guy, rewind to the beginning of the show and you'll hear some tomfoolery, but then you'll hear us list every single player. And I do have the breakdown after we go over this list, how many guys we're breaking down. It's not as fun listening live. Listen, if you can't listen live, then you have to find a way to support.
Anyway. Look, this is Scott Hamilton. This is his troll. It's like a reverse troll.
I know.
It's how he does it, and it's amazing. He gets my blood boiling sometimes, and I have to stop and go, "Oh wait, this is just Scooter.
Just Scoot being Scoot."
Hey, Derek.
Yeah. By the way, no Insomniacs in the top 10 yet. By the way,
right?
Interesting.
Well, hold on. What's the next number?
Number 5. You tuned in at the right time, you son of a gun.
And let's see, who's number 5 on this list? That would be one Big Mac of
Kenny Mack, lineman, Insomniacs.
Exactly. Number 5.
The big corn husker.
Watch. They're going to be like, oh, Kenny Mack is 5. There's 4 players better. Yeah, just shush. Watch.
But
we'll see. You'll see.
Can I speak?
Oh, my bad.
Can I
So-
preach?
Corey's having
Can I
fun arguing
preach?
with himself.
Right? Like I said earlier, he likes arguing with himself.
With himself, right.
Sometimes I just let him go.
Right.
Now,
But-
look at Scooter's latest comment.
That's my center.
Thank God we made it. Looks like we made it.
So
Look how far.
how do you start with Mac other than saying one of the things that stood out for me, and I wish I could have found it. If I had a little bit more time, I was going to put it in there. This is a man that literally I watched block a defensive end out of bounds by about, I don't know, 6 or 7 yards. And I looked down and said, dude, what's up? You just did that play without cleats on? Yeah, my
Yes.
feet hurt.
Yes. When you can pancake
When you
not wearing
cleats and not to mention drive this man, and a big man at that, out of bounds by about 5 or 6 yards with no cleats on. This is a player.
Where is
that-
Mac on this play? Is he the
He's a
left
center.
guard?
No, he's a center.
He's a center.
Is he?
Yeah, they're very
just
hard
watch him.
plays.
Just watch him do a screen.
Yeah, just watch him.
There you go.
Screen it off.
Yeah, I got it.
It's
guy-
it's the footwork here. It's not the power there. It's the
Let
footwork.
me just say he looked skinny in that. I didn't
Right?
and that's scary.
Yes.
Well, he looks skinny. I'm sorry, Scott. You're trolling. I'm trolling. He looks skinny. Look at his quarterback. It's just a comparison thing. Oh,
That's
fucked
probably
up.
what it was. Right.
That's fucked up.
Relatively speaking.
But I mean, one of the better offensive linemen in this league, and this guy.
I mean, he's number 5 on our top 50 list.
And he's just having fun. I mean, this is watch him play is kind of like watching a pro play against some of the guys that are just lower end, where he just knows exactly what to do. He just takes them for a ride and gets his job done and gets it done, which with most it looks effortless, which is one of the best things to watch, especially if I was RTC, some of the holes that he created, it's just like, wow, I could just walk through those.
Yeah. So people talked about going into the 2023 season, RTC having played for the Force and the troubles he had at running back after dominating the Vegas League. And what I tried to explain to everybody was it's not necessarily the rush that got to him, but he didn't have the level of blocking when he was on the Force that he did on the Insomniacs. And they would tell you to a man, the Insomniacs offensive line, not just the talent, but the scheme that they use. These guys understand leverage as a unit, not just an individual, but Kenny is the anchor to that leverage. And it begins with his amazing footwork, knows how to position his body, get leverage, and then the hand fighting is legendary at our level.
Well,
right? He a guy that should be playing at the next level for sure. D1 guy, Nebraska, just an absolute dog, like a dog. He plays and has fun. If you make him bleed, you are going to pay for it. That when he cut his mouth open against Ohio, that everything got really bad for everyone else after that very quickly.
Well, again, we're at one of the Airbnbs in Philadelphia for the championship game, and they're watching film on the BIC, and Kenny Mack is like holding court. He's talking like everybody is listening, just dissecting the defense, saying, okay, run this, do this, you do this, and boom, we'll get something going. It was just like you're like literally in the film room at a team headquarters just watching film. It was incredible to see just firsthand of just how attention to detail Big Mac is. It's incredible.
And to be fair to the Insomniacs as a group, right? BIC did get a considerable amount of pressure on the quarterback Scott Hamilton that day, not because guys were missing blocks. BIC's defensive scheme is that they bring extra guys, right? Yep. So to be fair, Oos, Mac, Schwenk, they weren't missing blocks. That is why the pressure. Yep. See what Scott says? They were sending extra guys. So as somebody that plays BIC a lot and my linemen miss blocks, the only reason Scott Hamilton's able to complete a touchdown pass to Eric Schuford and him make the face, right?
Look at me.
The only reason he's able to have the time to do that is because when Kenny Mack was told to block one-on-one and list the guys that are on that defensive line. A lot of them are really talented, top-level defensive linemen. I would argue by far, by like a huge margin, the best defensive line that the Insomniacs as an A7FL team have faced, including the Nightcrawlers, who, look, good players are on this field, no depth. The rush that they faced,
easily the best D-line we've seen.
the rush that they faced from BIC on pass plays, best we have played for sure, right? The rush that they faced on pass plays was because of the scheme that BIC used. But I'll ask you this, guys. Watching that game, was the offensive line for the Insomniacs able to control the line of scrimmage on run plays?
Damn right.
Yes, they were.
To the point where they said, okay, let's
This
go.
is what we're going to do.
Go
Right?
snowplow against BIC and see if they can stop us. And they could not. They maybe tackle for a loss on 2 overall plays out of 30 run out of that formation. But for the most part, Insomniacs imposed their will and pushed the pile every play. It was not sexy, but sexy for us big boys who have played a lot.
It was big boy season, baby.
The trench warfare was fucking amazing.
And by the way, your quarterback becomes, in a sense, the fourth blocker because he can't throw the football.
Sometimes. And
and what does that do? What does that do? What does that do against the scheme where they're sending extra guys? All of a sudden, they're not sending an unblocked man because everybody's accounted for. That's one of the reasons why, in my opinion, Insomniacs were able to pull that game out, is because when they made the adjustment to go kind of like heavy on that wildcat or snowplow or whatever we want to call it. I won't call it snowplow. Snowplow doesn't even exist anymore.
I thought it was hilarious.
No, it is funny. But when they started to understand that the scheme that BIC was bringing was making the passing game a lot more difficult than it needed to be, the fact is that the Insomniacs put a man on a man when they're blocking. They're effective, and they're led by a guy that not only technician-wise as a blocker is able to do it, his energy, his whole vibe is really where the Insomniacs on a play-to-play basis will be. Because when Kenny Mack is there, engaged and pumped up, you'll notice almost 100% of the time that the Insomniacs are going to execute a very good to great play in that moment when Kenny Mack is doing so.
And welcome to the chat, Kenny Mack.
And that's why of all of the hundreds of players in the A7FL, we ranked Kenny Mack number 5 in our A7FL top 50.
So I'll say again, I said this last season, and it hasn't changed for me. If I'm drafting a team this year, my number 1 pick is Kenny Mack.
Hands down.
The energy, the dog in him, the leadership qualities, the way everyone follows him when he stands up and commands a room, like Dub said, you can't get that value and that quality at such an important position. And there's guys that'll be above him, and I think that they're on his level. But for me, the way he plays his game, give me Mac.
But again, as Chris and I have talked about so many times, what makes a great lineman? His footwork.
Yeah,
Sure.
It's tremendous.
And
even
when
when
watching his footwork is
better when he's wearing
crazy.
shoes.
But easier,
It's just as deadly when he doesn't have cleats on.
easier to see his feet though when he doesn't have cleats on.
True.
Now that was a tough one, right? Where do we put Kenny Mack? And hopefully we don't lose the chat on this one. But guys, are you ready to do number 4?
It's about to get wild up in here.
Oh, the chat's about to completely revolt, I think.
So mentioning there's some guys that are above him, but give me Mac. I got to give this new rookie his props. Easily the best two-way line player in the league, Dave Valley from the BIC. Dave Valley came onto the scene looking like Stone Cold Steve Austin put on about 100 pounds and
open up a can of whoop ass.
Was dominating the New Jersey division, the whole East. There was no one who could slow him down when he was blocking. No one could slow him down when he was rushing. And for me, the rookie of the year for this season, hands down, although he did not win the award because, flashy offense typically takes that award. If I was drafting and I had a second pick and could go with another lineman, that would be my guy, Dave
Yeah.
Valley.
You
Kinda-
win if that was your offensive line. Yeah, show the clips.
Like,
Sit down. Be humble.
like Valley serving up pancakes of dudes that are bigger than him quite a bit. Just he's a man out there, and to know that he was coaching and someone drove by and said, "Yo, come play football with us," and he said, "I."
Yeah. Now, if Alex can look in the videos, there's a YouTube short that I sent over to the chat. That's a compilation of some of his pancakes. Kenny Mack is a great offensive lineman. No one's going to take that away from him. And when you compare these two, when me and Chris were talking about it, before the show, really it's not a 1A, 1B situation. It's a 1A, 1AA. And I don't know which one is A or AA really in this year specifically. When you just turn on the film, Dave Valley just had more highlights. And it's funny that you mentioned when you talk about rookie of the year that it was a flashy offense. I don't think anybody has a better highlight reel at any position this season than Dave Valley taking legendary Northeast lineman after legendary Northeast lineman and literally putting them in the position that you would throw your girlfriend on Friday if you're a Valentine's Day guy. He's got guys on their back with their legs up in the air spread. He's taking away people's ability to go home and have respect from their family on a game-to-game basis. We're talking about guys that all weigh over 310, right? We're talking about guys that made – there it is. We're talking about guys that made the all-decade team. Oh. We're talking about guys that are showing too much skin. What are you doing to people? Dave Valley is sunning some of the – he's laying on top of people.
Surfboard.
This is a 30-something-year-old rookie that came out here in sunglasses and an attitude and basically just told everybody to be humble and sit down.
You will go down and you will like it.
Right.
I can't believe he's a coach and not a bouncer. Like, he is throwing people out of the club.
Oh, yeah.
But the leverage in which he attacks, like if you look at the physics, like the biomechanics of what he's doing to people, that's perfect. That's perfect for him. And as great as Kenny Mack is, and he is great, right? Kenny Mack hates me sometimes. I will always say how good he is at football. I think that if you closely watch what Dave Valley had put on film this season, even Kenny Mack would be like, yeah, that's a good player.
Oh, I know Kenny Mack.
Matt, Mack is a competitor because he says, I'm going to have to play D-line this year.
Right.
And then he puts up, listen, we want everybody to play better. I don't know. I don't know if Kenny Mack can play that much better. Maybe he plays more. I don't know.
Right.
Kenny Mack can also catch too.
Talk about a cheat code though.
twisted.
Dave Valley and Kenny Mack on the same offensive
That's
line.
unfair.
Bro.
That's
There's
unfair.
a cheat code.
That's unfair.
I'll ask you guys this an honest question. This goes for Kenny Mack too. Are there what there's 32 NFL teams times 5? Are there like 150 offensive linemen better in the world than those two players? Because I would argue potentially that there is not. If these guys were 6'5", they're making, $40 million a year.
I like my offensive linemen a little shorter and stockier like these guys.
Yep.
So if I'm drafting a team, like
a little bit more agile.
Because if my defensive linemen who are rushing are 6'4", 6'5", and I got a guy that's 6'1", that means he's already got leverage out the box. And if they got a low center of gravity like that, we're rolling.
Especially when you pull.
Run play.
Look at the play that's on the screen right now. That's Big Burton. By the way, Big Burton was considered for the all-decade team. He's 340.
Looking up something right now.
Well, look, so you said 150. Those are starting linemen. They all carry an extra 5 because linemen are the position that gets hurt the most and has the cycle.
So let's
there aren't 300 guys in the NFL that are better than both these guys.
Okay. Let me just say something, because who would you guys think was one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL? Because we're talking about height, we're talking about weight.
Penei Sewell, best there is.
Okay,
a Lion,
The best in the league.
So the best.
Well, the Eagles had statistically had the largest offensive line to
I'm
ever
not
start.
talking about this year. I'm just talking about overall. One of the best linemen that I've ever seen play the game was
Anthony
Larry
Andrews?
Allen.
Larry
Larry
Allen,
Allen,
from the Cowboys.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
6'3".
One of the best pulling guards
6'3".
ever.
Yeah.
6'3". He was not a tall man.
No.
And we'll say a whole lot of Christina Aguilera. You know
What?
what?
But
White.
but
He
the
keeps that white girl Christina Aguilera. You don't know the reference? Anyway.
and that man can bench press like none other.
Yeah, still holds a record.
Yes.
I'm missing all the David clips.
This is I don't know if you guys know who that is, but that's Nick Mays.
Legend.
Nick Mays is an all-decade performer, one of the best players to ever play for the Baltimore division. He's throwing him around like it's Corey Hammond playing defensive line out there. What the hell?
If you watch it, he just gets up in his arms like,
Says-
"Let me go, let me
like-
go."
No, he gets up. No, he gets up and
Look,
says, "You know what? I'm done.
Let me go.
I'm done.
Stop it. Let me go.
I'm done."
Man,
I'm like, "There's no need. I'm
You're
done."
brutalizing me. Stop
he
it.
that man has to go back home to his family. His family's looking him in the face like, "Why were you on your knees during a football game, bro?" How often in those clips have we just seen Dave Valley literally lay on top of belly to belly, lay on top of grown ass men?
Good night, Mac.
There you go.
Thanks
I'm
for tapping in, brother.
6'3".
Bro, there's no
6'3",
way he's 350.
350. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
every
He's
bit of
way
it.
slimmer and more svelte than 350. I mean, maybe he is. I don't know.
Every bit of it.
That Nightcrawlers film that we just saw, he's looking like a nice like a tight 280.
What's
B
up,
squared.
Brian?
What's up, buddy?
Was also taking his talents to the force for the spring season.
Right?
By the way, I will say this: if we had more clips of Kenny Mack, I'm sure they stand up to this type of dominance. But
Yeah, next season.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Kenny Mack
We'll
can
have it
also
all.
catch the ball.
Very well.
All right.
Last Dave Valley thing. I went onto the field after a game, congratulate Dave Valley, blah blah blah. Right? I shake his hand, grown ass man. Right here on his glove, right here, the glove burst out. So I asked him, "Are you like wearing like two pairs of gloves, or do you like wrap your hand underneath the glove because the glove didn't fit his hand?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Nah, it's just my hands." The glove split. Like this little muscle here, this little thing.
Right.
We're talking about like I don't want to go inches here.
Different
We're
human.
talking about this guy had meat paws. Like when he shook my hand, the whole hand and belt. I don't got like Johnny Manziel hands. This man is an absolute dominant force for the BIC, and in my opinion, it was the best player on, arguably. Because remember, 1 point blowout, right? 17 seconds, they had the lead. Arguably the best team. He was by far the best player. And if you ask Big Rob, that's your MVP right there. Dave Valley, our number 4 player on our top 50 list, which goes to show you who could possibly be 1 through 3.
Shout out real quick to Brian Benitez. We got a fast track to get you into college ball, buddy. Stay tuned.
Corey's blowing his nose. Give him a sec.
You're up, Dub.
Did you hear it? I thought I muted.
Oh, you muted. You're good.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
That's what you were doing.
Make sure you pronounce his name right, because what Corey put in the chat is hilarious.
Oh, good grief.
Did you put in there?
Well, coming in at number 3, I mean, really, what can you really say about this player? But I'll just say it like this. In a championship game setting, there is no person more clutch than this man. Doesn't matter if you need a catch, a block, him on
Block 4 guys on one play, maybe.
least
Whatever
3.
you need him to do,
Interception to seal the game.
he
Yep.
just does it. Like he says, when the money's on the line, that's where I shine the brightest. And by God, he has made me a believer. Coming in at number 3, the Swiss Army knife, that is Eric Schuford.
What did I put in the chat? We might as well break kayfabe and share.
Shuffled.
Munchie.
Shuffled.
Oh no! That's autocorrect.
but there's a saying that me and Chris always say on our broadcast. It's fourth and Munchie.
Fourth and Munchie.
Because
Fourth
you
and
know where the
Munchie.
ball's going. It's going to number 11.
And he's going to be open. Don't matter. He'll
Doesn't
be
matter.
open.
Well, he's going to catch the ball. He's open or
Yeah,
not.
Yeah,
exactly.
true.
He's going to catch the ball.
Head topper, off to the side, doesn't matter.
And he's going to shoot the arrow.
Well, Dub, you said something in your assessment that I want to drill down on real quick, and that is the Swiss Army knife function of Eric Schufert. That man plays every position for the Insomniacs in virtually every game. They call him Debo Munch because he running back, quarterback, DB, wide receiver, clearly offensive line, tight end. The dude does everything. I didn't know Munchie up until 2 years ago, and then I started to watch his game, and he literally is one of my favorite guys to watch. He is Debo Samuels, Anquan Bolden, that level of possession receiver, but has the speed to take you over the top if you're not a 4-3 guy. Munch is that kind of good, and his route running is impeccable. Him and Scooter's timing together is something that is undefensible, but more importantly, his understanding of physics of the ball and being able to track the ball, whether he is on offense or on defense, is what separates him from most of the guys in the field. The physics of it all, whether it comes naturally, if it's something he studies, he understands leverage, he understands speed, he understands how to slow down and speed up to get separation, and it's amazing to watch.
Well, and it's subtle, right? When you watch this little clip, that step from his left foot to kind of get into the corner, and then he's able to open up his hips, get the separation, and then still have the ability to go 180 and catch the ball high point. That's technician type shit that Darren Palmer does, Munchie does. I love Ashanti Worthy. Ashanti Worthy, for all of the things that he can do, one of the things that I do not see him do on a regular basis, and it might be because he's just that explosive of an athlete, he doesn't have to. I don't see Ashanti Worthy running routes like this. And it goes back to what I said about Munchie, I think, early on in the season or in the offseason. He's the type of receiver
Here we go.
He's running slants, fades, and stops.
Watch the block. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
If you're not paying attention,
Hi.
good morning.
Hi, how are you?
He's running, but when he's out there at wide receiver, he's running slants, fades, and stops. And he gets like 4, 5, 6, 7 yards of separation on one move, 3-step routes. That's the definition of a great wide receiver. Like I said before with Darren Palmer, double moves, that's not going to prove anything to me. But then But then when Chris and I were talking about it, when we made our wide receivers list, Chris, remember we said it? Who was number 1 on our wide receivers list?
The man we were just watching.
No, Darren Palmer.
Oh, that's right. Darren was number 1 because
of the statistical analysis that we were trying to bring to that list. But
Correct.
Then when you put the rest of the things that Eric Schufert does for his team, including this, but not limited to this, because he'll also play that H-back and pull and lead block. In the championship game against the Nightcrawlers, what's up?
I said, watch this catch because Munch goes up and high points this ball. I understand that it's Worthy coming, trying to get the ball, but this was one of those where you don't always see somebody that's able to back up like that and still go high point a ball like this. This was impressive to me when I saw this play.
Yeah, honestly, when Sterry lets go of that ball, it's one-on-one coverage.
Yep.
And no disrespect, I'm pretty sure it's Danye that's covering him.
Correct.
It is.
Danye, Ashanti Worthy, in the air, 50-50 ball. Of all the things Danye Lyons does, and that's blanket coverage. So, there goes my point.
In that particular case, Danye was out of position. And if Munchie wasn't there, that might be a catch. Yep. Watch it at the end. Danye slips and his feet come out from underneath him when he goes to go back to the ball.
I think it was a nice
Sterry criminally underthrows this.
He did.
He pushed him.
Oh, Ashanti pushed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that going
Danye
on in the game that wasn't even called.
Yeah, he pushed
Well,
him.
if Sterry throws it earlier and gets more air underneath it, this could be a different situation. But, I mean, here's the thing. He's playing center field, and he can track the ball. His ability to judge the trajectory of the ball and get to where it's going to come down and then kind of box out, use his body because he's not tall, but he's strong as hell, and he uses a broad frame and broad shoulders to own the space in which it becomes a jump ball. And that's why sometimes it doesn't matter. Like we love David Clark, and he's a great player. But Munchie is going to get just as many 50-50 balls because of the ability that he has to control the space.
I just noticed the backflip for the first time right here. Hang on a second, right?
Oh, you didn't see that before? It's coming
here.
right here.
Who was that?
Oh no.
Zelly?
We don't know if he completed it, but I'm pretty sure it probably was Zelly.
Whoever it was.
At first, I thought it was JJ Harris, but
yeah.
That was a blowout loss, by the way.
Go by.
Yeah, C should be ashamed of themselves. Look at that score. But kind of finish my point when Chris and I were talking about where to put guys. Shuford, because I always used to say Shufford, it's Shuford. Shuford is where he is at on the list because of all those intangible things that he does that have nothing to do with the stat sheet. And my favorite play, I think, of him, because all of these plays are great. My favorite play of him in his entire career was against the Nightcrawlers on fourth down in a league that has 7 players on the field.
He blocks 3 of them.
He blocked 4, Dub.
Right. And
4 of the 7 on one play. Kenny Mack could have taken a vacation, and the Insomniacs still win and score on that play because of their wide receiver deferred getting the ball on the stop route, which he had owned all day, and said, nah.
Run the ball.
I'm a block.
Additionally, he didn't hear the check at the line and thought he was getting the ball.
Oh, really? I didn't hear that's part of the story.
Yeah, go watch it again.
And looked back in the backfield and said, "Oh shit!" and turned and took out 4 dudes.
Bro, blocking 4 is diabolical.
Right?
We talked about Dave Valley blocking 1 guy and pancaking him. Blocking 4 is just diabolical.
Well, like I said, when the lights are the brightest, the lights are the biggest, that's where he just seems to just don't give 2 dams. It just shines on the biggest stage in this game and in this league.
Yep.
You said it, and it turned out to be a rhyme, but I don't think you noticed. When the money is on the line, it's his time to shine.
Yep.
That I've never heard that shit before. I like that. I will be using it moving forward.
Yeah, I think Munch needs to put that on the back of his car.
While he does,
put that on top of one of Derek's beat boxes. Yeah, put that on top of a beat.
I like it.
Well, guys, how could such an amazing player like Eric Shuford be number 3? We still have 2 guys left.
Yep.
Which brings us to our number 2
and
player.
You, sir, your announcement.
Look, I know that he wants to change his name.
But I gave him to him. We can't.
But BBW is not sticking, unfortunately. So Anthony Wilkerson, we're going to say number 2, RTC, running back for the Insomniacs. And could it be really anybody else that is a more important player for the Insomniacs than Eric Shuford? Because, hey, by the way, Scott Hamilton, that's a lot of Insomniacs. We just kind of went in a very short order. I know we blasphemed and put Dave Valley in there, but Anthony Wilkerson, to me, in a league that is going away from having a feature back, on a team that has 3 really good running backs, including himself, but also Devontae Carter and Juice.
Yes.
Is the bell cow focal point of their offense. And just to hold my, Chick-fil-A nuggets and Polynesian sauce.
His power
goes
pellets
out at defensive line. And in my opinion, when you look at the film, no disrespect, because he was my defensive player of the year last year. RTC on film this year looked better than AJ McQuaig at defensive line. So he's by far the best running back. He's the focal point of that running offense. He's got a great offensive line, but look at the body of work that he's put up. And when you're able to do the things that he's doing when you're able to do the things he's doing on a consistent basis, I just hope that he has all of the Chick-fil-A nuggets ready to go every single weekend, because I want to see this guy play at this level for a really long time. I don't think that there's a better offensive player on our league. And we're talking about a league that has, of the top 10, only one of them is a pure defensive player so far.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Well, I mean, we are a league that values offense, although we love to watch defense. It's offense that makes the highlights for the most part. Wilkerson for me.
Look at Cunningham.
Another
Look at Cunningham.
another great guy, good human, takes care of his personality on and off the field. Obviously a fantastic athlete, and as you said, as good of a defender at the defensive end position as we have in this league when having to play that position. I know for a fact that the majority of his games he has played after playing a flag game earlier in the day or the day before. And in championship games, not excluded, that have taken place in Vegas. The guy is just an athlete, loves ball, and puts it on and puts it out every time he steps on the field. My favorite story about him, unfortunately, is one where he got injured and he burned his face off after getting tackled.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I was there on the sideline. I saw it up close. I'm like, dude, did you just blade yourself like you're in wrestling or something?
He
And
literally
he refused to come out the game.
gets tackled by and stopped by his face. His entire face is off on the field. He's got just a red face from the strawberry that tore his face off, and he is refusing to come off the field and still wanting to play ball.
He's like, give me the ball.
That
Give me the ball.
dude just loves ball, and that is that attitude that drives the Insomniacs as a team. These guys are all like that, but it starts with him
And
in that
loves contact.
Because it almost looked like he got kneed in the face.
Yeah.
I think he took an elbow to the face.
Nah, it's that turf burn.
Yeah, it was a turf burn.
Yeah,
but I think he
definitely.
got it because he took an elbow.
See, but it was his momentum pushing him forward. I've had the same thing to me, but it's getting driven back, so it was a different angle.
Hair burn.
And the funny thing is, I have firsthand experience playing against him. By the way, with a ski mask and sunglasses on, and I looked at the defense that I was playing, and I saw him at defensive end, and he was at the defense's left, my right, which means that if I had to roll out, it was to his size. I mean, to his side. Let me tell you something. For all the chicken nuggets he says he eats, or when we first talked to him on the 3-on-1 podcast, he was eating chow mein at the time. That dude is as solid as a brick fucking wall, and excuse my language. And the explosion that he plays on the offensive side of the ball, he carries that on to the defensive side. The physicality that he plays in a full contact, no pads league is insane. And I will say this. I've seen the Vegas division highlights. Other than the first ever time we called, remember the fall where he was on the kryptonite and I was the one calling it from across the ocean, and I saw him give up on a play because he didn't want to make the tackle. Other than that play, I have seen more guys make business decisions with RTC driving across the freeway towards them than anybody in this league. That includes Courage Mosey, a guy he looks up to. That includes Daryl Verges, a guy who played for the Giants. That comes from our league. That includes guys like D-Train, who weigh 340 pounds playing running back. Ice Cream Truck. Just look at those highlights. RTC is, if not now, almost guaranteed to be on the Mount Rushmore of the A7FL. And that's coming from a biased Northeast New Jersey fucking guy, right?
Right. I mean, that guy could easily have been given the MVP in both championship games that he's been in, and obviously contributed heavily in the one that he lost in the fall, but fall don't count in your guys' world, right? But I just want to drill down on the nickname for those of you who don't know, especially if you're from the East. RTC is our bus system here in Las Vegas, and the very first time I saw him play when he was playing running back for the Force, he carried 5 people into the end zone, and I said, Anthony Wilkerson carrying people like the RTC, our bus system, and that's how we got it.
Giving free rides.
Now,
We'll owe him bus fare.
Now it's really tough to catch.
Now, technically, he was given the MVP in 23, but he deferred it to Munchie.
That's right. So co-MVPs, right?
Correct.
Yep.
And Ryan DePaul, who's the founder of our league, the president, whatever his actual specific title is, watching that game live, he could not stop raving about how great RTC is. Ryan DePaul has seen a lot of great football players. There's a decent list of guys that have played in our league that also have made practice squads in the NFL. I've never heard him rave about anyone as much as RTC, except for Mark Bagway when we first found out about him. That just got to go. And listen, Mike Tice was all about Mark Bagway in that. I think if you ask Mike Tice, former Vikings coach, who was there watching that game, I think if you ask him after the game, he would put RTC on that list as well.
For sure.
Wait, hold on. So Eric Schuford and Anthony Wilkerson are 3 and 2. Don't tell me this fucking biased ass New Jersey guy making this list doesn't have, like, who the hell could be number one?
Go ahead, man. You put the list together. I think you should take the honors.
Yeah.
All right. So just to kind of preface, right? And guys, back me up on all these things. When we talked about this list, we talked about how you have to be present and available for most of the games. If you miss a lot of games, it's going to knock you.
Yep.
It has to be a statistical analysis. So we're not just talking about vibes or how good somebody is. We're talking about a level of performance that is consistent and throughout the season. All those went into it, right?
For sure.
All right. Well, throw all of that out the effing window, because what this man did when it mattered the most is the reason why number one, Donye Lyons. Is he a god? I don't know, but he was the hero of that blowout win against BIC.
And made the Asgardian look like a genius.
Look, it's not about Scott McCorkle, and he did call that, but Rob called that. Rob called that in real time as it was happening, and it's not about Rob either.
Scotty called it a week before the game.
Right.
There is something that's really special.
We have it on tape.
Whatever. It's not about the Viking. If he wants to be part of the conversation, then he can show up to the fucking show.
Right here.
There is something. Yep. There is something incredibly special about being able to do the things that Donye Lyons consistently does. And we'll talk about the whole impact that he had on the championship game in a moment.
I'm really him.
But as incredible as these plays are taken out of context, to do what you have to do. And look, I respect the Insomniacs. And this is an untimed down. So if he gets tackled there at the 38-yard line, the Insomniacs aren't definitely going to lose that game. But I'll ask you guys an honest question, because you guys are Vegas guys. In the passing situations for the Insomniacs, were they effective on that evening, that late afternoon?
No, they weren't.
So the chances of them in 17 seconds somehow all of a sudden being really effective in the pass game
and one timeout
aren't impossible, right? It's not impossible. It would be asinine, and I wouldn't know football if I made that point saying that the game's over if he gets tackled there. That's bullshit. But the empirical evidence shows that the percentage of chance that they have if he does get tackled there is minuscule at best.
Yeah, to your point, when the Insomniacs decided to go ahead and go over the top on the previous series and left 2 some odd minutes on the clock when they could have easily bled it down and kept running the ball, I was like, oh shit, we left too much on the clock. This game, if they score, this game's over. So that was my thought process at the time. And then, of course, when they scored and there was still 16, 17 seconds left, I'm like, it's going to be a tough road, not impossible, but improbable, like you just described. So,
right.
Shouts out to Donye when it had to happen, when the BIC put out the best guys they could to stop this from happening. Well, I mean,
my Spice was not their best option there, but anyway.
Well, it didn't end up being their best option, but who should they have had out there to tackle?
It honestly, I don't think that, playing that game doesn't matter, because let's watch what actually happened. One of the reasons I think people are in love and disillusioned with how great Michael Jordan was isn't because, his individual skills are better than every other player by that much. The reason everyone loves Michael Jordan is because in these moments where you have to be better than your best. Let's watch as he's returning it here. When he makes that spin move, is he or is he not, by the laws of gravity, likely to fall on his face? Right here. Boom.
The first one or the second one?
The second one. More importantly, the second one, right?
Right.
The winner's will, that champion heart that Danye Lyons has. It's not because he's bigger than any of those guys. It's not because he's even that much faster than all of those guys. And he is fast as hell. But those guys are also similarly fast. They have him exactly where they want him. Corralled, 3 guys around 1. It is his heart and his will that fights through gravity, physics, all science. To Danye Lyons, the earth is flat because science doesn't fucking matter to him. He wanted to win so much that he willed it into existence based solely on the power of his aura, in my opinion. Now,
Corey,
is he talented? Yes.
Hold on for a second. We're going over one play that, let's face it, changes this game. And we understand that. I understand it perfectly.
Right. Yeah.
But
And I said that we would talk about the rest of it too, but I just wanted to.
What we're not talking about right now is what this young man was able to do against our number 8? Number 8 player on this list, which was something that I thought was special because the only time I saw Ashanti Worthy make, and I could be wrong, I watched this whole game and
Jordan's watching. He had the stats the one time we were talking about it. He had ass stats. He had ass stats.
What I'm saying is it was, I want to say it was 3 catches, but I want to say that one of them, if not 2 of them, were broken plays where they were not matched up man on man. So what I'm saying is when this young man was covering BIC's best wide receiver, I don't know how many catches he actually had. So, and it's not a knock against Worthy. Don't take it as that. What I'm saying is this young man is number 1, not just for this play,
not just, yes,
but
exactly.
also what he was able to do against one of the better wide receivers in our league.
And again, to pinpoint what Derek said earlier, Danye is an offensive player by trait.
Yes.
And then did that on defense on that day in July.
And also did it in 2023 in the championship game too.
Had the interception to clinch that game.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then had multiple returns and one that looked identical to this against Sickwit in the one of their games earlier this season. Danye was a weapon for the Insomniacs all season long as a returner and
a wide receiver.
And as a wide receiver, not as many snaps at wide receiver as a DB.
Right.
But when he was locking up the team they were going against, best DB, you didn't worry about that side of the field because he had them on lock. That's who he is.
And BIC did not. The kid locked up every number 1. Yeah, put up Scott Hamilton's stat. Right? No, I can see the comments, and I saw that Scott Hamilton said a comment, so I started to read it, and I was like, yeah, just put it up.
Yeah, it was speech to text, exactly what I said.
So that's funny. Danye affects the game in a way that BIC did not take the lead going to their go-to guy at any moment in that final drive.
Right.
It was clearly just everybody had to do their best to try to stop staring, and they weren't able to. That was not Danye's responsibility on that play at all, on any of those plays. But what I will say is when that happened in the booth, I always go back to a game in, I think it was 2016. Yeah. Where Kareem Moon had to return a 3-on-1 kickoff against the Immortals to win a playoff game, and he did so. That, to me, was kind of like the best highlight I had ever seen because, A, the 3-on-1, it really is – it seems like because there's so many touchdowns that it's not fair for the coverage team. It really shouldn't be fair for the returner because you have to make 3 guys miss. But for him to have the clutch moment with 17 seconds left, down by 5, or they didn't make the extra point. Down by 5, 17 seconds left in New Jersey. Your team just allowed a very demoralizing type of touchdown because let's be clear, when you cover your man and no one's open and the quarterback just slips out and scores an easy running touchdown, that sucks a lot more than, like, you know, for instance, if Darren Palmer catches a head top on somebody because it's a great pass and a great offensive play. That's a demoralizing type of play. The Insomniacs, and credit to Coach James, by the way, right? There's a lot of reasons why, even though if I talk shit, that he is a very important part of that whole group. But when you're out there on a 3-on-1, there's no help. There's no RTC gets the benefit of Kenny Mack, Oos, and Schwenk, or even Munchie. There's no Scott Hamilton has Davitt Clark and Eric Schuford to throw to. There's no AJ McQuaig is able to get pressure on the quarterback because other defensive linemen are doing their job around him. It's just Danye Lyons, a big fat L staring him in the face, and 3 guys from BIC that had covered kicks great all season. And in that moment, the type of competitor and champion that he is and always will be forever now, he stepped up to that moment and played probably better than he ever probably did before in his life. Now, he's a great player and he always makes great big plays, but I don't think any could have been bigger in that moment, because just ask Saquon Barkley, who looked like he had shaky legs, as fucking huge as his quads are, had shaky legs in the Super Bowl. Those types of moments, that's science too. The chemistry of a moment like that, when you have adrenaline running through your body, you shouldn't be able to perform at peak performance. Just ask Isaac Baby Joker how shit goes in a clutch situation like that.
Yeah.
Trey Cohen, who he made miss, the first guy he made miss, makes that tackle weekly in the Northeast.
Right. But to your point, he has the clutch gene, right?
Yes.
Some people, when the moment is big, it accelerates them, or other people start to wilt or shake under pressure and they make weird decisions. And in this case, his decisions turned out to be the deciding factor in the game. So shouts out to Danye Lyons, a very deserving number 1 for the impact on that game, the impact that he's had on our division and this league, and a highlight that is used over and over and over again this offseason, propelling us into the 2025 11th season of the A7FL.
He's
Let
really
me just say, thank God that Flag fucking sucks and that they couldn't get their act together and steal him from our league. No, I'm just
Yeah, they did. They did, but they couldn't keep it together, so he showed back up.
Yeah, Flag fucking sucks. Thank God he played in our league. Thank God.
Well, it's an Olympic sport now, and hopefully he's on the team.
He should be.
Oof. That would be
whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like whoa.
So we've gone 2 hours, gentlemen. This was fun.
Yeah.
Let's just recap it real quick. I think Dub should definitely promo what's upcoming, which is very soon, by the way. And if you play in the league, you know, what I'm doing is I'm not having as many milkshakes to prepare. Also push-ups and practices. But anyway, number 10, Deontay Henderson, linebacker, Nightcrawlers. Number 9, Jeremy Geary, quarterback, sick with it. Number 8, Ashanti Worthy, wide receiver, BIC. Number 7, Darren Palmer, wide receiver, sick. Number 6, Sterry Codrington, quarterback, BIC. Number 5, Kenny Mack Exotic Bulldogs, by the way. Offensive line, Insomniacs. Number 4, Dave Valley, Bald Menace, BIC. Number 3, Eric Schuford, similar menace, different size. Number 2, Anthony Wilkerson. You guys know him by different names. And number 1, the best player, the most impactful, the most important, dare I say, player in the 2024 season, Danye Lyons, GOAT, Insomniacs.
Bravo.
You do that so well, Corey.
Bravo.
So, Corey, you had some stats that you wanted to get out before we wrap today. Do you want to do that tonight, or do you want to save it for next week?
So, Insomniacs, to Scooter's point, led the league with only, which is surprising because you'd think there would be more. They have a deep roster. Only 8 of the top 50.
Oh, 8's a lot.
Well, yes, but when you consider their roster, there's definitely capable guys that did not make the list. Right?
Naturally. Right.
Second place was a tie between Sickwit and BIC. Ohio, as a division, had 6 guys. The U and the Animals had 4 guys on the list. Baltimore Watchmen had 3. OTT, get your act together. You had 3 guys on the list. What the hell are you guys doing? The Force had 2, Fox and Webb, and hopefully we see more from them. And the Nightcrawlers, even though those guys barely play, they still have 4 guys. So we look to see what they can do next year. So if you say that this list was heavy on one team or not, it's spaced out pretty evenly. And I think when you look at it, if you didn't make this list, gentlemen, maybe lady, I don't know how you would make the list going from not playing at all to showing up, but crazier things have happened. Oh yeah. Never mind. We got rid of DEI, so we can't do that. But if you didn't make this list, check the roster you're on. If you're down on the depth chart, find maybe somewhere else to showcase your talents. And I hope to see a lot of new faces on this list and some of the faces that did make this list climb for next year. So, gentlemen, this was fun.
Yeah, so I'm not going to take up a bunch of time real quick. I just want to get out this coming season, potentially entering into the season, relationships and connections with JUCO division who will be recruiting from the A7FL, connections with NAL, IFL, and the LFA, who are all looking heavily at the A7FL and specifically the Nevada division and LA divisions from what we're trying to pull off right now. But that will filter down to the rest of the league. So I'm over here working for everybody. You know, we know how we like to do, but I just want to get that out there. Benitez said it earlier that he's trying to go college. We've got those connections, especially if you're looking to go JUCO. That's almost a lock at this point.
Yeah. And look, Derek's working for you guys. You guys can very easily work for Derek by liking, subscribing, commenting, right?
Right.
It doesn't cost anything. You might as well go through the effort. You do it for Mr. Beast. Come on.
Well,
hit the button. Where is it?
Even share your own highlights and tag us. That's all we ask, man. Get the word out about the A7FL so you get more eyes on it.
No, not yours. Share Danye Lyons highlights. Come on. Yours are not up to snuff.
Which again, Pat McAfee, bring your crew out to an A7 game this year.
Join us.
Just calling you out, Pat McAfee.
And bring Shane Gillis. We'll get him on the field. I bet you he's a baller.
I would love it. I want to see D Butts still strap it up with us.
Which, by the way,
what's strap?
Not strap on. Strap
whoa,
up.
Whoa.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing Michael's not here.
Right? He'd get excited.
Yes, he would. But 32 days. Yeah. It's coming sooner than you think.
It's 32?
32 days. March 16th, season 11. Well, one football league failed to give yourself a 3P champion. Will it happen in the A7FL in season 11? Find out in 32 days on March the 16th.
Nice.
For Corey, for Dub, for Chris, I'm Derek Duncan. This was The Other Side of the Ball.
And we'll see you next week on The Other Side of the Ball.
Peace out, y'all.
Corey, you should try.
I always try.
But to quote your good friend Matt Ryan, don't be an asshole.
I'll try.
That's it, Alex. Wrap us, baby. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Keep it manly.
Thanks, everyone.
Like and subscribe.